Our country is coming apart. A virus has killed well over 130,000 Americans with no end in sight. The economic fallout has resulted in the highest unemployment since the Great Depression. And on May 25th, we saw a white policeman choke the life out of another African American man while staring defiantly into a camera. Little did he know that that man, George Floyd, would change the world. In July 1968, I was invited to sing to raise funds for the Poor People's Campaign, started by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who had been murdered in April. It was a time of devastation and chaos. And then came Robert Kennedy's assassination in June, and the riots at the Chicago Democratic National Convention that would happen in August. It was over 50 years ago, and yet we're still facing the same shocking violations of civil rights. Black lives mattered then, and they matter now. The nation has never reckoned with the racism that brought human beings here in chains. No one should die with a knee on their neck. Systemic racism has to be uprooted. People need to be heard, valued, and cared for. And our country is at risk if we cannot support and protect all Americans. Now when we need a president who is a voice of compassion and unity, we're living in the nightmare of Donald Trump, who is pouring gasoline on the fire. He calls himself the law and order president, but he doesn't obey the law, and he can't keep the order. This reckless man doesn't have the wisdom or the character to lead our nation. But let me tell you about a man who can lead us. And his name is Joe Biden. He will be a president with grace and dignity, who has respect for the truth, unlike Donald Trump, who doesn't believe in facts or science at a time when this global pandemic is ravaging the world. Just think of how many lives could have been saved if he had paid attention to the warnings and acted earlier. In other words, Donald Trump is dangerous to our health. And we cannot afford 4 more years of malice, division, and lies. And neither can our planet. Climate change is a fact, not a hoax, as Trump calls it. In 1986, Joe Biden introduced one of the first ever climate bills in Congress. And he will build on the life-saving regulations enacted by the previous administration. Unlike Trump, who's letting corporations pollute the air we breathe and the water we drink. One of Joe Biden's first moves as president will be to rejoin the Paris Climate Agreement, because he understands that we are all interconnected. We are all responsible for each other, while Trump cares only about his own self-interest. He hires people for their loyalty, not their qualifications. I don't know whether to laugh or cry at Trump's blatant narcissism and his daily delusions, like suggesting we inject bleach into our bodies. And now he's corrupting the system of checks and balances that preserve our democracy by firing anyone who speaks the truth. But Joe Biden knows that we are a country of laws, not lies. We don't need a bully as a president who picks fights and rules by retaliation. Let's face it, Trump is unfit, mentally and morally, to hold this distinguished office. Joe Biden is a decent, ethical man with an open mind and an open heart. Joe Biden has the empathy we need now more than ever. At a time when 40 million people have lost their jobs, their health insurance, their ability to feed their families or buy medicines they need. Trump is still trying to kill the Affordable Care Act. Joe Biden, who helped build it, will strengthen it and give Americans a new choice, a public insurance option. Look, as Joe Biden says, we are in a recession now, the Trump recession. And by the way, every recession over the past 40 years has started under a Republican president. And then when the Democrats come back in, they have to clean up the Republicans' mess. Joe Biden was put in charge of getting us out of the last recession. And I'm sure he will pull us out of this one too. He will also protect a woman's right to control her own body. And he will fight to end prejudice against LGBTQ plus individuals, and will protect all people from employment discrimination based on skin color, religion, or whom you love. In 2012, Joe Biden was the first high-ranking government official to endorse same-sex marriage. And he will reverse the ban on transgender people serving in the military and reaffirm civil rights for all. The military was designed to protect us, not attack us. But a few weeks ago, Trump called out the troops against peaceful protesters. That's what cowards do when they're scared. Donald Trump has failed us, and we cannot survive 4 more years of his incompetence. I'm sad and embarrassed by his lack of humanity. But Joe Biden understands the anguish we're feeling right now. He will listen to people rather than greeting them with guns. All they want is justice. It's as simple as that. And Biden gives us hope, not hate. Joe Biden will also bring back our pride as Americans, both at home and around the world. America is a great country, but we're losing what has made us great. Our democracy, our Constitution, our fairness, our generosity. Joe Biden is the leader we need now, and we must do everything we can to ensure that he's elected. Thank you.